Everyone laughed at him, not loudly, not openly, but in the quiet, cruel way people do when they think someone doesn't matter. Every morning, just before sunrise, he stood outside the small grocery store on the corner of Maple Street. The store was old, the kind with flickering lights and carts that squeaked when pushed. He stood near the entrance, shoulders slightly hunched, hands folded together to keep warm. His shoes were worn thin. His jacket had lost its color years ago. And his eyes had learned to look down. People walked past him every day. Some avoided eye contact. Some whispered to each other. A few smirked. To them, he was just another poor man standing in the way. What they didn't know was that his name was Daniel. And he wasn't always invisible. Years ago, Daniel had a normal life. A small apartment. A steady job at a warehouse. A routine that felt safe. But life doesn't ask permission before it changes. The warehouse shut down with only a week's notice. Bills piled up. Savings disappeared. Then came the eviction notice. Daniel searched everywhere for work. Construction sites, restaurants, gas stations. Each time, the answer was the same. We'll call you. They never did. Slowly, Daniel's world shrank to a few blocks and a single hope, that someone, anyone, would give him a chance. He didn't beg. He didn't shout. He just stood there with a small cardboard sign. Looking for work. Any help appreciated. Most days, the sign might as well have been invisible. One afternoon, a group of teenagers walked past him. One of them laughed and said loudly, "Why doesn't he just get a job?" They all laughed as they walked away. Daniel lowered his head. That night, he went to sleep hungry. Again, days turned into weeks. Winter crept in quietly. The mornings became colder. The nights felt endless. Daniel learned how to survive on very little, half a sandwich, a cup of water, the warmth of a building's vent. He told himself not to hope. Because hope hurts when it disappears. Then one evening, something different happened. The grocery store was closing early. The sky was darkening, painted with shades of gray and orange. The parking lot was nearly empty. Daniel was about to leave when a man stopped in front of him. The man wasn't flashy. No expensive suit. No luxury watch. Just a clean coat, calm eyes, and a presence that felt steady. Instead of walking past, the man spoke. "Have you eaten today?" The question caught Daniel off guard. He hesitated, then slowly shook his head. The man nodded once and walked into the store. Daniel stood there, confused. He didn't expect the man to come back. But he did. In his hands was a small paper bag. "Here," the man said, handing it to Daniel. Inside was food. Warm food. Daniel's hands trembled as he took it. "Thank you," he whispered. The man didn't smile for attention. He didn't look around to see if anyone was watching. He simply turned to leave. Before he could walk away, Daniel gathered the courage to ask. "Why?" The man stopped. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he replied quietly, "Because someone once helped me, when I had nothing." And with that, he walked away. Daniel ate slowly that night, savoring every bite. But more than the food, something else warmed him. For the first time in months, he felt seen. Weeks passed. Life didn't magically change overnight. Daniel was still poor, still struggling, but something inside him had shifted. He stood a little straighter. He looked people in the eye again. Sometimes kindness doesn't fix everything. Sometimes it just gives you strength to keep going. One afternoon, a black car pulled into the grocery store parking lot. Daniel barely noticed at first. Then the door opened, and his heart skipped a beat. It was the same man. This time, he wasn't alone. Another man stepped out of the car, carrying a folder. The stranger walked up to Daniel and said, "I've seen you here almost every day." Daniel nodded, unsure of what to say. "I own a small delivery company," the man continued. "We're not big. We're not fancy." He paused. "But I need someone honest. Someone who shows up." He held out the folder. "Can you start tomorrow?" Daniel couldn't speak. His throat tightened. His eyes filled with tears. "Yes," he finally managed. "Yes, I can." That job changed everything. It wasn't easy work. Long hours. Heavy lifting. But it was honest. Daniel showed up early every day. He worked harder than anyone else. Months later, the same people who once ignored him now greeted him by name. The grocery store clerk smiled when he walked in. The teenagers who laughed avoided his eyes. And Daniel Daniel moved into a small apartment. He bought new shoes. He started saving again. One evening, after work, Daniel stood outside the grocery store, not because he had nowhere else to go, but because he remembered. He saw a man standing there. Worn shoes. Tired eyes. A cardboard sign. Daniel walked into the store. And when he came back out, he held a small paper bag in his hands.